What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to a brand new review on my channel, and I bring you a review of my old what if issei was from a forgotten clan. Now, I actually decided to redo this because I actually thought that it was actually of a good thing that I started off with this what if, because the what if was actually really good. Because I have the beginning, but I didn't have the middle or the end. And that really sucks. I put in so much work and effort and thought about this what if, and completely I didn't do it. So I want to actually finish this what if, or try to get it finished, and actually try to get some of my old what if actually done, because actually, you guys deserve better. I don't like to actually leave my what if unfinished, because actually that makes me seem like a bad person, that I don't care about my fans. And I do care about you guys. So this is why I'm remaking it. I'm trying to finish it. So with that out of the way, let's actually roll this video. Now, before we can actually get ourselves into the story, we need to go and do a little bit of history about actually issei's clan. Issei's clan was known as the Hideyuki clan, and they are pretty much actually called the unknown by different factions because of actually their unknown abilities and power. Now, like actually people from anime, of course, they have a power system, right? Some use magic, some use actually different form of actually ki. Now, the Hideyuki clan are specialized in spiritual arts, magic. Now, spiritual arts magic is not the same as actually normal magic here. Spiritual arts is kind of like ki or chakra, right? They actually are life force. Now, there are pretty much actually 4 different actually ranks of actually like levels that the Hideyuki clan can be on. The lowest of the lowest was actually bronze level. The second was actually silver. The third was gold, and the final one was actually spiritual god level, which actually only one over millennia only achieved this, and that was only one person, which actually we will not talk about yet. The bronze level, they can actually go against high class devil, and also actually almost that of ultimate class. Actually, the silver class can go up against actually ultimate class devils, and actually pretty much they can almost go up to Satan class. Gold class can be on Satan class and easily actually surpass that of actually ultimate Satan class, or actually true Satan class from actually the level Surge X is on. And actually spiritual god class is the one above all, that they can actually become immortal itself, that they cannot die. They have power over the spiritual life force of the whole universe itself. But that's actually something that nobody has ever achieved. Only one person have achieved it. Now, since they were actually known and pretty much feared by actually most factions because they actually know of this actually system. So this is what actually brought them to extinction. By actually the devils and the fallen angels will form together, and they will actually try to actually eliminate them from the face of the earth. They will be attacked from actually each direction, as this was a surprise attack. This is where the Hideyuki clan would actually fend off and try to actually survive and protect their home world. But truth be told, they were actually outnumbered. They have number, but the Hideyuki clan member, they have power. So they were easily able to kill out a whole bunch of them. Even actually some household that actually were pure blooded, of course. Now, this fight would take about 3 years to last before they would be completely slaughtered down. Some did try to capture them, which it was completely a fail, because remember, spiritual arts, they could just end their life. They don't want their powers being passed down to the wrong hands. So with this, nobody will be left. No Hideyuki clan will be left, of course, besides from one. One would only remain, and that was actually Mika. Mika would actually live in hiding in the human realm, as actually she would actually live for about 10,000 years before she would finally meet Goro Hyodo, and there they will have a child named Issei. This is where when Issei was 3 months old, Goro would die from actually of an unknown accident that he got when he was actually coming from work. And actually Mika raised issei all by herself. Once Issei reaches the age of actually 7, that's when things change. Mika started to get more sick, and actually, well, she started to get sick, and pretty much she wasn't actually getting better, and no doctor could cure it. So when Issei turned the age of 10, he lost his mother, but before she can even leave or pass on to the next life, she would give Issei an amulet and also a wooden box. She would tell Issei that these things will help him in life and to always become strong. Mika would eventually pass, and Issei would be living with his grandparents, and he would grieve for actually about 4 months before he finally got over his parents' death. Now, Issei would actually pretty much live a quite normal life, of course. Nothing big would happen here, but actually Issei had an amulet around his neck, which it was blue, and Issei never removes it, and Issei had never seen what's inside actually the wooden box, because Issei felt like he wasn't ready to look inside it yet. So pretty much Issei would live a normal life, and they will actually get on to the kind of story where he will meet Riz, and everything will play similar to that in the anime. This is where things would change, where actually the 10 days of training would actually begin. As Issei would be packing up his bag to go on his trip, he would notice the wooden box that his mother left for him. Issei never opened it, so curiosity got the better of him, and Issei will open it. He would see it was actually over a notebook. Issei actually didn't open it, but he instead put it in his bag. He would read actually what his mother had to say in this notebook when actually he's training with them. So with this, he would meet Riz Courage, and they will actually start to climb up the mountain. Kiba would actually start training Issei in swords, and also Konoko in strength, and Okuno in actually magic. And so with this, the day will pass to where Issei will be in his room. He will be lying on his bed, completely complaining about how today's training was actually quite brutal. But Issei would notice the book in his bag. Issei would sigh, and he will open up the book, and Issei was hit with flushes of actually information that the book was telling him. The book would explain to Issei that how he's not really human from the beginning. He was actually pretty much what we all call as an unknown. They were actually specialized in spiritual powers, arts, and they were skilled in actually swords, both combat, fist, martial arts, you name it, of course. And then plus, they had actually a great spiritual energy. They can almost create life itself, and they can even easily create constructs from their spiritual powers. And also, they will actually explain, what the book would explain, how they will be attacked from the devils and fallen angels, because they feared their great power, because actually they might actually reach the level of actually godhood, which nobody can actually achieve, which is besides from one. Issei reading all of this to be super like sad, angry. He doesn't know what to think of it. First he finds out that he's not human, and the fact that his mother was hiding this big secret from him, that he was from this forgotten clan. Issei continued to read, as he will learn that the book tells him how to use spiritual powers. The book will tell Issei that he needs to be in a constant focus, in a meditation position, for him to use spiritual arts. This is where Issei will cross his legs together, and he will start to meditate. He will start to channel his inner spiritual energy around him. This is where actually Issei started to glow out of blue energy, as this did quite take Issei for him to learn for about like 2 hours, of course, for him to learn this. And with this, Issei felt a little bit more stronger. He felt actually that his whole body was actually burning with fire inside of him. So the next day, when actually Issei did have a break with actually Konoko, Kiba, even Okuno, he would actually be meditating in the forest. This is where Issei would actually learn how to enter his spirit zone. Spirit zone was actually where Issei is in a constant focus, as he pretty much actually, he can be distracted, yes, in it, but actually, this is where actually Issei is really serious while he's in this state. He basically, so he can actually sense his whole surroundings, the life force himself, the life force of actually Riz, Okuno, Konoko, even Kiba. He can actually sense actually the spiritual magic. And for Riz, her color was red, Okuno was purple, Kiba was blue, and Konoko was purely just white. Issei noticed that Konoko had a high spiritual energy, and wondered if she has actually spiritual energy just like him. As Issei would keep on actually his spiritual training for actually 9 days, and I would believe that Issei would actually unlock Dreg, not actually able for him to use his scale mate, but actually him being able to talk to him, Drag was a big help with Issei in this actually 10 days of training, because actually he did actually gain a few abilities that Issei can actually use against Raiza. The rating game would actually soon take place, and then everything will play similar in the anime. Issei and Konako will go to the gym where they'll face off against the pawn and actually the rook of Raiza. This is where they will easily handle them, because Issei is so strong in this, and he actually has a little bit of abilities that Issei can use, can use against him. Issei would use one paralyzing ability where he will use lightning to paralyze everyone in the room besides from Konako and Issei. This is where the two of them will easily defeat actually the rook and the pawn before leaving actually the gym before it got blown up. This is where actually Konako will get knocked out by actually Raiza's actually queen. This is where Akino will challenge Raiza's queen and Issei will meet up with Kiba. Kiba and Issei would team up together to take out actually the pawns and the rest of the knight and also the rook. And actually with Issei with his some abilities he was able to use actually the spiritual dragon shot, which was actually over crimson energy fused with that little bit of blue, which this was so powerful that he took out actually half of actually the people on the field, which was actually the rook and actually a few of actually the pawns there. And actually there, people would still use the sword but give it to Issei before Issei would approve it, and about 1,000 swords would appear from the ground, and actually making actually everybody from Raiza's parade besides the queen be eliminated. This is where Akino will be eliminated and soon Kiba. There Issei would join Reyes and Austria on the roof, where actually Raiza was there face off against Reyes. Issei would soon charge towards Raiza and actually delivering a punch towards him, so fast that Raiza didn't get a chance to react. Issei would soon appear right above Raiza before slamming him down towards the roof. Raiza would get so annoyed and he would launch actually Phoenix Fire towards Issei. Issei will enter his spirit zone and you see actually the movements of where actually the fire balls are actually gonna land. Issei would avoid every single one of them, and then he will continue to beat on Raiza, countering all his attacks, and Issei continues to beat him up, just like Toma from Index. A few hours will pass, Issei wouldn't get tired. He used up a little bit more spiritual energy. This is where Raiza will start to hit on Issei, way more angry than in the anime itself. And with this, he will pick Issei by the collar. In the anime, he will actually say that he will actually send Issei to death itself. Before actually Raiza can jump in, before Raiza can even actually attack Issei, Issei will hit last energy and last strength, will actually collide fists with Raiza. Then a huge shockwave and a big explosion in the whole arena. Raiza will be lying on the ground. Actually, pretty much the dust cloud will settle, and Greyfear will actually say that Raiza Phoenix has been eliminated. Reyes Grimmin wins. Issei will soon fall on the ground, defeated and tired. Greyfear would announce that Issei Hiro retired. Issei will soon open his eyes to notice that he's in the hospital. He will notice that Greyfear was actually by his side, and Greyfear will tell Issei that actually Issei won actually the game, that Reyes is now free from a marriage. Issei will sigh in relief, knowing that Reyes was safe, but Greyfear will ask what was actually that last attack that Issei used when actually he defeated Raiza at that last second. Issei will shrug his shoulders, and Greyfear thought that it might be the booster gear. So with this, she will actually leave Issei in the room, but before she can leave, she will tell Issei that he has to stay here for about a week before he can actually go back to the human realm. So with this, she will leave, and leaving Issei and Dreg to talk. And this is where actually they will do a little bit of talking, but Issei will do a little bit more of meditation, gathering his spiritual energy that he lost in the battle. Issei will be visited by actually his friends, and they will soon check up on him. And yeah, Issei was doing actually a little bit fine. A week will pass, Issei will actually be able to go to the human realm. But Issei would be a little bit different when he actually comes back. Issei would not actually... Okay, before I can even jump right further into it, I don't believe Reyes will move in with Issei. And by the way, Austria doesn't live with Issei in this one. She lives in a club room with Reyes. So actually, I don't believe Reyes will move into Issei, but I do believe that actually she will become more close to Issei because of actually that fight. So yeah, I'm sorry for all you Reyes and Issei lovers, they do not get to sleep together, and Reyes does not get to move in. I'm sorry, yeah, Austria, yeah, she doesn't get to move in, so yeah. But Issei will continue on his school life, but actually he'll be more serious about actually training. Issei will spend more time in the library, and he will even spend extra time there when school was over. and he would use actually his spirit zone to be in a constant focus, because Issei will read nearly every single book in the library trying to get knowledge, of course, because actually knowledge is what gives you power. But actually the knowledge that Issei was attaining was not enough. He needed to know more, and so with this he will ask Rias about any magical books that he can actually get his hands on. Rias will give Issei a few of them, but actually Issei will read them all in just 2 weeks. So with this, Issei will ask Sona. Sona will give him some, but Issei at the same time will read them all in 2 weeks. He needed more. He needed to know more about magic, actually more about his origin. So with this, the book will actually tell, or kind of the notebook that Issei's mother gave Issei, will tell him about where actually the Hirayuki realm really was. So Issei would actually adventure there, which actually Issei would take 2 weeks off school just to actually travel. He would inform Rias that he's actually going to see his grandparents, so he will be actually back. Probably won't be back for the next actually 3 weeks. Issei will actually there adventure, and he will actually finally find actually the place where the Hirayuki realm once was. Now, it will be behind a giant mountain, where actually they will be covered by a boulder. This is where Issei will enter actually the tunnel, and there he will see he was surrounded by nothing but darkness. Issei will continue to walk before he will notice a white light. Issei will continue to walk towards the light, and eventually he will start to run towards it. This is where Issei will finally reach the light, and he will finally reach the Hirayuki realm. This is where Issei will see that the realm was completely of a ghost town. No life remains from there. Issei used his spirit zone to sense if there's anyone here, but no one. There was not even a single trace of spiritual magic here. This is where Issei will notice a giant shrine before he will finally get himself, or pretty much actually finally go inside the shrine. This is where Issei will notice something was off. He felt like he was being watched, but he checked the place. Nobody was here. Issei will continue to walk around the shrine, and Issei surprisingly will notice a picture of his mother. This is where actually he will see his mother next to a man who seems to be quite older than her, and Issei assumes that this probably must be his mother's father, or probably his grandfather. This is where Issei will feel a pair of hands behind him. Issei will evoke his sacred gear before delivering a punch. Before actually Issei can actually attack the person who was actually behind him, his actually attack was actually blocked by one finger, surprising Issei and sending him flying back towards the wall. Issei will look up to see there was 2 figures standing there. One had actually long black hair, and the other had a long white hair. The white hair was actually a female, and she had a 9 tails behind her. The other guy was a male, and he had a kind of like dragonoid figure. The man who had a dragonoid figure will ask Issei who is he and how did he enter this actually realm. Issei didn't know what to say. I mean, like, heck, he felt so inferior to them because Issei could sense their spiritual energy. It was so high that it can easily crush him. The one with actually white hair, the female, the 9-tailed fox, will grab Issei just by the collar, and now Issei will be facing actually her face to face. She was beautiful. She pretty much actually was the beautiful person Issei had ever laid his eyes on. Pretty much her beauty surpassed that of Rias and Okno. The 9-tails now actually pretty much would be glaring at Issei, saying actually to state his business and why a filthy devil like him was actually in their realm. Before she would actually evoke her actually claws, ready to actually slice Issei off, but she would notice something, Issei's amulet, and she would grab it off Issei's neck, or pretty much rip it off, and then she would ask him, where did he get this? Issei would be more angry and say to give it back. He would actually throw an attack, but actually the dragonoid figure would actually go and launch a fire attack, sending him flying backwards. Now actually they were not gonna let Issei leave. They will actually grab him by actually the legs, and now they will actually pretty much knock him out. Issei will wake up to see that he was actually tied in actually the courtyard, where actually pretty much actually he was tied by actually these magical strings, or pretty much seals. He was floating in the air. He couldn't invoke drag or anything, of course. He couldn't actually access his spiritual magic. This is where actually Issei would ask them to let him go, but they will be actually doing the questioning around here. The 9-tailed fox woman would actually ask Issei where did he get this amulet. This is where Issei would say that he's not saying where he actually got it from, that it was actually given to him. This would infuriate her before she would launch Fox Magic before as actually would hit Issei, actually getting him a little bit of a third degree burn. This is actually where she would actually ask him, where did he get it from? Did he stole it? Who was the person? Was this a female? As she will continue to attack Issei left to right, trying to get any answers from Issei. Issei would finally speak to say that it was actually his mother who gave it to him before she passed away. There, you happy? This is where she would be truly surprised, and with this would shock two of them. Wait, could your mother be Mika? The actually Dragon figure would say. Issei would say like, yeah, but how does he know actually that mother? This is actually where actually they will let Issei go, fall to the ground. As actually the woman, the nine-tailed fox, would actually heal Issei and apologize to him. Give him back actually the amulet to Issei. They will actually apologize to Issei, saying that he thought that he was actually just like a regular actually devil that actually came here to take actually that thing. This is where Issei will ask, who were they? The Dragon figure will actually introduce himself as Shin. And actually the woman, the nine-tailed fox woman, will be named actually Kiyomi. And they too were the guardians of this realm. That actually they were actually pretty much the once protectors of this land before it was actually taken over by actually, before it was actually taken over by actually the devils and fallen angels. There still are the protectors, but heck, not anymore because it was there to protect. With this, Issei would truly have to be a little bit surprised. But he heard about it from actually his notebook, from his mother's notebook, which actually he would show them. They'll be surprised and they will read everything about the notebook. And they will actually now confirm that Issei was the son of Mika. Issei will ask how do they know actually his mother. They will actually explain actually how Mika, Issei's mother, was actually supposed to be the leader of this realm. And how actually her spiritual entity was so incredible that she could actually probably actually reach God level tier. But actually because of her sickness, she was not able to actually achieve that actually level. So with this, heck, she was actually just gonna be actually the leader of this realm without even ascending to actually godhood. But still, even without her ascending to godhood, she was a force of nature. Before actually that, they were attacked by actually the devils and fallen angels from a surprise attack. They'll explain everything about the attack to Issei. And with this, they were even thought that she even died during the attack. She was a brave warrior who actually took out thousands of actually devils and angels with just one attack. This would actually change Issei actually thoughts of actually his mother. Yeah, she was a common person, but Issei thought now she was a total badass, and he has more respect for her now. The two figures were actually offered actually to become Issei's actually guardian, since actually Issei is actually the son of actually Mika. Issei would say that it was actually nice of him to say that, of course, but actually he doesn't even know. He doesn't feel like he's a Hibiki clan. I mean, of course he was a devil. Don't they not hate him? He said like, yeah, he may be a devil, which they dislike about him, about that side of him, but still, at the end of the day, you cannot refuse that actually he's the son of actually Mika. This is where actually Issei would accept them as actually their guardian, and this is where they will teach or even offer Issei to learn spiritual arts properly. It seems like Issei has actually unlocked the first level of learning spiritual arts, but heck, they were a master. They were actually gold class actually spirits that they were capable of actually going up against Satan, and even actually ultimate class Satans like Sir Zex themselves. So with this, Issei will spend the next few actually months training under them.